To kick us off, I'm going to turn it over to one of our voter outreach coordinators, Kalika Edwards.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening. As mentioned, my name is Kalika. I'm an analyst and outreach coordinator with the California Secretary of State's office. During this evening session, we will review with you all the options available to cast your ballot, how you can track it, and give you a little insight into what happens once your ballot is cast. I will begin by reviewing with you your Voter Bill of Rights, vote centers and polling places, some of the assistance options available to voters with disabilities, how and when you can drop off your ballot, some voting by mail tips, and finally, a brief review of available resources in your statewide voter information guide. As a registered voter, you are protected by certain rights to ensure that you are able to cast your vote unencumbered. It is important for you to know your rights when casting your ballot. This will help to ensure that your voice is heard. Tonight, I will walk you through your 10 voter rights so you can be fully prepared for the upcoming election. There is a QR code on the bottom of the screen that will take you directly to your Voter Bill of Rights, and it's also on page 2 of your statewide voter information guide. You have the following rights as a California voter: the right to vote if you are a registered voter. You are eligible to vote if you are a U.S. citizen living in California, at least 18 years old, registered where you currently live, not currently serving a state or federal prison term for the conviction of a felony, and not currently found mentally incompetent to vote by a court. You have the right to vote if you are a registered voter, even if your name is not on the list. You will vote using a provisional ballot, and it will be counted if elections officials determine that you are eligible. You have the right to vote if you are in line when the polls close at 8 p.m., so make sure you stay in line. You have the right to cast your ballot without anyone bothering you or telling you how to vote. You have the right to get a new ballot if you've made a mistake. If you have not already cast your ballot, you can ask your elections official at a polling place for a new ballot, exchange your vote by mail ballot for a new one at an elections office or at your polling place, or vote using a provisional ballot. You have the right to get help casting your ballot, as long as that person is not your employer or your union representative. You have the right to drop off your completed vote by mail ballot at any polling place in California. You have the right to get elections materials in a language other than English if enough people in your voting precinct speak that language. You have the right to ask questions to your elections officials about election procedures as long as you are not being disruptive to other voters. Finally, you have the right to report any illegal or fraudulent election activity to an elections official or to the California Secretary of State's office. If you feel you are being denied any of these rights, please contact our confidential voter hotline for assistance. The phone number is available on the slide or on our website. Next, let's talk about vote centers and polling places. Vote centers differ slightly from your traditional polling place. One significant difference is that voters can cast their ballot in person at any vote center in their county. This means that voters are not limited to a single assigned polling location. You have the option to choose. Many vote centers have modern features that make voting easy and convenient. Most voters are familiar with polling places and are accustomed to casting votes there. Typically, polling places are open for a specific time on election day, and registered voters are assigned to a particular location based upon their residential address. Some additional information about vote centers. Vote centers are available in what is called Voters' Choice Act counties. The Voters' Choice Act was designed to provide voters greater flexibility and convenience. In these counties, vote centers open 10 days before Election Day, helping to expand access to the ballot through early voting opportunities. For the March presidential primary election, vote centers will open on February 24th. To find out more information or to verify if your county is among the Voters' Choice Act counties, visit vca.sos.ca.gov or scan the QR code featured on this slide. The Secretary of State's office and your county elections officials are dedicated to guaranteeing that all voters have private and independent access to cast their ballot. As previously mentioned, one of your rights as a voter is if you need assistance, you can choose up to 2 people to assist you in marking your ballot at a polling place or vote center. This person cannot be your employer or work for your employer. And if you are a member of a union, this person cannot be your union leader or work directly for your union. You can also have an elections official assist you at the curb with your voting needs. All polling places and vote centers are required to be accessible and have accessible voting machines. For more detailed information about the assistance your county offers, please reach out to them directly. This information is also available on page 110 of your statewide voter information guide. And additionally, please feel free to scan the QR code on this slide to access your county's specific contact information. For the upcoming primary, your county will mail ballots no later than Monday, February 5th. Voters can begin dropping off ballots as early as February 6th. Ballots can be mailed or dropped off in person, which also includes early in-person polling sites. And if you decide to mail it, ballots must be postmarked by March 5th. If you are making use of one of the many drop boxes available, know that county officials collect all ballots and ensure they are handled properly. If you have signed up for Where's My Ballot, you will be notified when the county receives your ballot. Common questions about voting by mail often include some of the questions you can see on this slide. As previously mentioned, counties will mail ballots no later than February 5th, and typically it can take 2 to 5 business days to receive your ballot. Still, you should contact your county to confirm when the mailing process began. Secondly, every registered voter will receive a ballot via mail, but you are not required to vote by mail. If you choose to vote in person, you should bring your ballot to a polling place or vote center to surrender. Polls are open on Election Day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and you can look up your voting location on our website. Lastly, if you didn't receive your ballot or it was lost or destroyed, you can contact your local county elections office for a replacement ballot. If you joined us last week or received your statewide voter information guide in the mail, we hope you feel empowered and informed to mark your selections on your vote by mail ballot. Once you've completed that process, place the ballot back in the envelope and seal it. Sign the outside of the Vote My Mail envelope in the designated section. Ensure your signature matches the one on your California driver's license, state ID, or the one you provided when you registered to vote. There are multiple ways to return your vote by mail ballot. You can drop your ballot beginning as soon as February 6th until the close of polls on March 5th. If you are mailing it, make sure it's postmarked no later than March 5th, and it should be received by March 12th. If you're planning on voting in person, in the Voters' Choice Act counties, vote centers open for early in-person voting on February 24th. And on Election Day, polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to cast your ballot. Finally, you can track it and receive updates by signing up at Where's My Ballot. Next, we will review this feature in further detail and show you how easy it is to sign up. As I conclude my time, I want to provide you with several resources that are available for you as a California voter. All the information I provided you tonight comes straight from our presidential primary elections page. In addition to the information provided earlier, there are several guides available on various topics, such as tips for military and overseas voters, how to sign up to be a poll worker, check your voter registration status, and so much more. There's a QR code available for you on this slide, and it will take you directly to the site, directly to the page on our site. For the upcoming election, also take a look at page 8 of your statewide voter information guide. This page provides a comprehensive list of all crucial deadlines that you should keep in mind when voting. Thank you once again for joining us. Now I'm going to hand things over to my colleague, Ryan Reese, elections analyst, to discuss with you how to track your ballot.
Thank you, Kalika. Hello, everyone. So in this portion of the presentation, Justin, Hirai, and myself will be going over what happens once you cast your vote. We'll be covering what is Where's My Ballot, how to sign up for it, what the login portal looks like for you, and what messages you might receive when signed up. After that, Justin will be covering life cycle of a ballot and what happens to your vote by mail ballot after submission and an overview of My Voter Status. He'll then transition to How Safe is Your Ballot Election Security Overview, where he'll be going over best practices and some election security safeguards from our Office of Election Cybersecurity. He'll then take a pause and go over some helpful tools to identify mis and disinformation. And lastly, Justin will highlight some additional resources found on the Secretary of State's elections page. So, what is Where's My Ballot? Where's My Ballot is a ballot tracking service introduced by the California Secretary of State in collaboration with Ballot Tracks to enable voters to track their ballots. Ballots can be tracked whether you cast your ballot in person at a voting location or mailed your ballot back to your county. First thing you will want to do is navigate to Where's My Ballot login screen. This can be done by either scanning the QR code on this slide or by going to where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov. Now that you're on the Where's My Ballot login page, you will want to make sure it's in your preferred language. This can be done by clicking on the drop down at the top right of the page if something other than English is in your preferred language. This page also is offered in Spanish, Chinese, Hindi, Japanese, Khmer, Korean, Tagalog, Thai, and Vietnamese. Now that the login page is or already was in your preferred language, you will need to provide your first and last name, date of birth, and zip code. The information that is entered will need to be exactly what you use to register to vote. So if you register to vote as Thomas, but go by Tom in your everyday life, you'll have to use Thomas and not Tom. Otherwise, you'll get an error when trying to register. After you have entered that information, you can click register/login at the bottom of the screen. If all the information you entered is correct, you'll be able to access your account. If that information was not correct, you'll get an error message at the top of the page letting you know what error occurred and how to fix it yourself or where to seek assistance. Also, right above where you would enter your first name is a link to Where's My Ballot Troubleshooting Frequently Asked Questions document. Here you will have access to information that may be helpful when troubleshooting. If everything you entered was correct, you will be directed to your Where's My Ballot account. From here, you'll be able to choose your preferred contact preference or preferences depending on if you would like more than one. Once the contact preference or preferences are chosen, you will need to provide the information needed for each. So your email address for email notifications or a phone number to either receive text messages or a phone call. Along with being able to choose and update your contact preferences, you will also be able to have the option to adjust the hours of which you would like to be contacted between. The default option for everyone that signs up is always going to be 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Another feature that is available in your account is being able to see your previous and current mail ballot information. You'll be able to see the history of your ballots from your previous elections as well as the status of your ballot for the current election. So if a county has sent out your ballot through the mail and you have received the notification that your ballot is on its way, it will say that the ballot is outbound for that election. With each special and statewide election, Where's My Ballot will be enabled in your county for you to use. On this slide, you will see 3 message types. These messages are the most common ones you will receive when using Where's My Ballot. These message types are ballot outbound, ballot inbound, and ballot received and accepted. The first message you will receive is the ballot outbound message. This message means that the county has mailed your vote by mail ballot and it's on its way to you. The next message that many of you will receive is the ballot inbound message. This means that your vote by mail ballot has been picked up by the U.S. Postal Service and is on its way back to your county elections office. And lastly, you will receive the ballot receive and accepted message. This means that your county has received and counted your vote by mail ballot. Here are 4 other messages that you might receive about your ballot during an election. These messages are ballot undeliverable, 1 week left to return your ballot, ballot received, and contact your county. You might receive the ballot undeliverable message if the post office was unable to deliver your ballot. This means you will need to contact your county to resolve this issue. The 1 week left to return your ballot message will go out 7 days prior to Election Day to remind you that the county has not received your ballot yet for the upcoming election. The next message you could receive would be the ballot received message. This means that your local county elections office has received your ballot, but it has not yet been counted. And the last message you could receive is the contact your county message. This would go out if the county has received your vote by mail ballot and there is an issue with it. You would then be instructed to contact your local county elections office to find out what the issue is and how it can be resolved. Next, I'll pass it off to our election security analyst, Justin Hirai, to go over the life cycle of a ballot, how safe is your ballot, election security overview, pause, avoiding misinformation, and voter services.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Again, my name is Justin Hirai. I'm an election security analyst here with the Secretary of State's office. So as previously mentioned, you can track your mail-in ballots through Where's My Ballot. But now we're going to talk about a little bit the life cycle of a ballot and the security measures taken to ensure that we have a safe and secure election. So ballots are regularly collected from the post office and drop boxes by county elections officials, and a strict chain of custody must be followed. For those who are unaware of the term chain of custody in this context, it simply means that there is a person in charge of keeping your ballot safe and secure through the collection and counting process. Before each election, all 58 counties are required to send those chain of custody plans to the California Secretary of State's Office of Election Cybersecurity. Voters that sign up for Where's My Ballot will receive a notification that their ballot was received, as Ryan mentioned previously. Those notifications can be delivered by text, voice, or email, just depending on the method that you selected during the sign-up process. All vote-by-mail ballots undergo verification checks, which includes capturing an image of the voter's signature on the ballot to make sure it matches the voter registration data. Similarly, signatures on a ballot return envelopes are also checked against the voter registration record. Now, if the signature is missing or does not compare to the voter registration data, you'll be notified by the county. So, beginning at 8 p.m. on election night, reporting begins on vote-by-mail ballots, and ballots will be continued to be counted until certification. So voters can also check their status of their ballot through the My Voter Status or by visiting voterstatus.sos.ca.gov. On that webpage, you can find information such as checking if you're registered to vote, checking where you are registered to vote, checking your political party preference, checking your language preference for election materials, to check the status of your vote by mail or provisional ballot, finding a polling place, finding information for the upcoming local and state elections, finding contact information for your local county elections office. And also you can choose how you want to receive your state and county voter guides before each election. So the California Secretary of State's office, which is the official nonpartisan election source in the state, works tirelessly around the clock with our local, state, and federal partners to ensure the security and integrity of every vote. To learn more about election security, please visit the California Secretary of State's Office of Election Cybersecurity page located on the QR code there. If you follow that QR code, it will take you to the Office of Election Cybersecurity, where we have a ton of resources for voters. Once you visit the page, it will start with our mission statement. Through the continuous investment in new tools, systems, and infrastructure, the Office of Election Cybersecurity serves California with the sole purpose of keeping every Californian's vote safe from online interference, especially the spread of mis and disinformation. The Office of Election Cybersecurity works to make sure Californians are equipped with the accurate information they need to vote and trust that their vote counts. Also located on this page, we have links to informational videos, toolkits, and a button to report misinformation. When you select that button, it will generate an email to our CA Trusted Information inbox that I'll talk a little bit about in the next slide. So just to reiterate, we are committed to ensuring a free, fair, safe, secure, accurate, and accessible elections through our appropriate safeguards. So I wanted to point out some election security safeguards that you can locate on page 7 of your statewide voter information guide. Under that first section, Securing Technology, I wanted to highlight that county voting systems are not connected to the internet, and that voting systems are rigorously tested by the California Secretary of State's office. In that second section there, under Secure Processes, ballots and election technology must adhere to a strict chain of custody procedure, like I mentioned previously. And post-election audits are performed by elections officials. Lastly, to highlight in that bottom section there, securing facilities and people, just wanted to point out that by law, all ballot drop boxes are secured and monitored. Security and accessibility assessments are completed for all locations, which means counties are continuously working with their local and federal law enforcement to ensure a safe space is created for all voters. So here we have some tips for voters on sharing content on social media. Now we live in a digital environment that can be quite overstimulating at times. And with the increased use of artificial intelligence, or AI, it poses another challenge. And I'm sure you've heard the phrases in news or in media, mis and disinformation. But what exactly does mis, dis, or even malinformation mean? So misinformation is false information not created or shared with the intention of causing harm. However, disinformation is deliberately created to mislead, harm, or manipulate a person, social group, or organization. And lastly, malinformation is based on fact, but it is used out of context to mislead, harm, or manipulate. So to help filter out some of that unwarranted information, we came up with the acronym PAUSE. Pay attention, ask questions, understand motives, sending possible misinformation, and trusting the experts. So pay attention. Pay attention to emotional language, such as a call to action or something that needs to be done immediately. Those strange messages almost always come with an ulterior motive. Ask questions. Why haven't I seen this before? What do other sources say? Who is the source that is putting out this information? Are they credible? Is there an underlying message? Understanding motives. Now, trust that your county elections office and the Secretary of State's office's sole motivation is to ensure a safe and secure election. Sending misinformation. If there's something that you're unsure about, you can always send information to that email inbox I mentioned previously, the CA Trusted Information, and our analysts can help research the validity of that claim. Lastly, trusting the experts. Experts can get accurate information from you can get accurate information from your nonpartisan election source, like your county registrar or the California Secretary of State's office. We have our CA Trusted Information QR code on the top right of your screen, and on that page, you will find the CA Trusted Information logo and a number of rumors that have been debunked by our representatives. So this is the CA Trusted Information Rumor Control page, and is designed to provide a clear and accurate information in response to some of the most widespread rumors about elections. This page covers topics such as how secure are drop boxes, and is voting by mail a secure and reliable way to vote? So each question gives a detailed response and provides references to elections codes and legislation to support those findings. The graphic shown in this slide is, like I mentioned, a screenshot of our CA Trusted Information page. Each topic has a little plus sign feature that you can expand to find information. Once you expand those topics, it will provide the rumor itself in red, the factual information in green, and those blue text with the underlines are links to legislation to help support those findings. For more information about all of the units in the Elections Division, please visit the QR code, or you can visit us at vote.ca.gov. On our elections page, you can find information for upcoming elections, ballot measures, candidate information, and election security. Like previously mentioned, we have created a web page specifically for the upcoming March 5th presidential primary. If you're unable to locate the information you are seeking, we conveniently have a search bar at the top right of the web page, and we highly suggest visiting our web page to learn more about all the topics we've covered here this evening. With that being said, on behalf of Secretary Weber and the whole Elections Division here at the California Secretary of State, we thank you for joining us this evening. With the time remaining, we will open up the floor for a Q&A session led by our Elections Division Operations Manager, Stephen Carta.
Thank you, Justin. We will now move into the question and answer portion of this session. Questions can be submitted by using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Our first question is, how can someone be prevented from double voting? Couldn't they just fill out their mail-in ballot and then go to an in-person vote center and vote again there? Actually, they can't. So vote centers and polling locations have real-time access to their election management system. And that is the system that tracks whether or not a person has voted a ballot already. So when you go into a vote center and cast a ballot, they are marking that record to say that you have cast a ballot at the vote center. If you had already mailed in a ballot and that ballot had not been adjudicated by the county yet, they would count your vote center ballot, and once they received that vote by mail ballot, it would not be counted because the system would show that you cast a live ballot at a vote center. Same in reverse. If you mailed your ballot in early and your ballot was counted and adjudicated by the county elections office before you went to the vote center on election day, they would show that your ballot was adjudicated already through your mailed in ballot, and they would not allow you to cast a ballot at the polling location. They may, however, if you request, allow you to cast a provisional ballot. And that is California's fail-safe to make sure every eligible voter gets to cast a ballot on election day. The county would then take that provisional ballot back to the office and determine if you in fact did already cast a ballot. If you did cast the ballot and they counted that ballot that you mailed in, your provisional vote would not be counted. However, if it was later determined that you did not cast a ballot by mail, they would go ahead and count that polling place ballot if you were eligible to vote. Good question. Next question. How long will mail-in ballots be counted after Election Day? Election law allows counties to count ballots through 30 days after the election. For this election, that will be April 4th. By the 31st day after the election, they will be providing those certified results to the Secretary of State's office, and then our office has until April 12th to certify the results and publish what we call the statement of vote. And that is the official results of the election. Let's see. How can a voter get accurate information about all of their elected officials? The Secretary of State does have information on their website, linking to websites that can help you find who your representatives are. If you visit our website, sos.ca.gov, and search "Who are my representatives?" you can find the page listing your statewide and federal representatives. I hope that helps. Let's see, what else do we have here? How flexible are poll worker and volunteer hours? Most counties require poll workers to be available for the entirety of days through for election day. However, each requirement by the counties is different, and they will have all poll workers attend a training session, and then they will schedule you for certain days to work at a polling location or a vote center. I would contact your county elections division directly to ask them if they need polling place workers and notify them of your availability. You can also visit pollworkers.sos.ca.gov to sign up through the Secretary of State's office. We will provide that information to your county elections official, who will then reach out to you and let you know of the need of poll workers. So always reach out to the county elections officials. They always need poll worker help, and I'm sure they would appreciate you talking to them. Let's see. Are voting machines connected to the internet? No, at no point in time are voting machines connected to the internet. I did mention that during check-in, polling place workers will check in a voter and mark that they are casting a ballot. Those are the only machines, and those are not connected to voting systems that could be connected to the internet. Voting machines are strictly prohibited from being connected to the internet. Next question here. Quick question. I'm unable to locate the presentation that we conducted last week regarding what's on my ballot, where we went through a little detailed presentation about what you can find in your state voter information guide. After the conclusion of this session, we will be creating a second video for this session, and then we will post both of those videos together on our website. We will email a link to these videos to all registered participants from both sessions. So I hope you take a peek at those videos and share them with your friends. How does the CASOS know my ballot was received and counted? Good question. We use information from county election management systems. So election management systems are what counties use to maintain their voter registration roster and maintain when a ballot was issued to a voter, when it was returned, and if it was counted or not. We also use information from USPS on when mail is traveling through the mail stream. We compile that information, and based on the dates that are provided either by USPS, the United States Postal Service, or the county election management system, we are able to trigger the various messages that are provided through the Where's My Ballot tracking tool. And again, if you want to sign up for Where's My Ballot, visit where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov. It truly is a great tool to watch your ballot through the entire process. Even election staffers here at SOS get very excited when we get those text messages. Great question. Let's see. When should we expect our vote by mail ballot? Any day. California county elections officials are required to have all ballots in the mail by February 5th. So keep an eye out. They are on their way, I promise. Give it some time to get in the mail to you. But if you don't receive your ballot within a reasonable time frame after that February 5th date, give your county elections officials a call and they'd be happy to look into that for you. Let's see, what else? Do you think it is too late to have a voting event after February 20th? In my eyes, it's never too late to have a voting event. A voting event is there to share information, get people excited about the election. And even if it's after the close of registration, voters can still go into any polling location in their county, any vote center, or directly to their county elections official's office to register and vote same day by using the conditional voter registration method, often used or named same day registration. So they can go in, register to vote, cast a ballot, and that will go back to the county elections office for adjudication. So never too late. I bet our outreach team would say the same thing. All right. How can an area request a vote center location? We have many seniors who need additional help close by where they live. Also, can we ask a vote center person to be present at large meetings? So I would contact your county elections office. There's a variety of tools and criteria that county elections offices use to determine where they place a vote center or a polling location. That can be based on population. It can be based on public transportation routes. It can be placed in rural areas, college campuses. So there is a set criteria that each county looks for when they're selecting locations to put those polling locations in. If you have a lead on a polling location that would be available, I would always contact your county elections officials. They're always looking for locations to put polling locations and would appreciate your support in getting those established. Let's see, do I need to have ID handy when I am going to vote? And if yes, which ID? In California, in general, ID is not required when you go and cast your ballot. The only time a form of ID would be required was if it was your first time voting in a federal election and you registered to vote by mail. So you didn't provide that form of ID when you initially registered to vote. Now, there's multiple forms of ID that are accepted when you are required to show that or meet that requirement. We do have a list of acceptable forms of ID on our website, and you can just search ID or Help America Vote Act, which is the act that requires ID in certain instances. And we have a list of about 30 different types of ID that you can provide when you visit a polling location. But in general, no. Voters do not have to show ID at the polls when they cast their ballot. Let's see here, what else? What is the state's plan if a county vote center machines break or aren't working? What happens next? So county elections officials are very prepared for this instance. Malfunctions happen in voting machines. They shut down. What they do is they will go pull that machine from the line and replace it with a brand new machine that's been certified and tested by the county. They will take that machine back to the county elections office and they will run the diagnostics on that machine to make sure that they have everything that's in that machine as far as votes go. But yes, they will replace that machine. They take it offline immediately. And oftentimes in every single county, they have runners and teams that are out in the field on election day that are ready to address these specific problems. And as the Secretary of State's office, as far as what we do on election day and leading up to election day, we have our voter hotline where people can call in one of our 10 different languages that we support on our voter hotline and notify us of concerns that they are seeing out in the field, no matter which county you're in. We have a process at the state level to notify county elections officials so that they are able to address those problems right away. We follow up with those counties to make sure that we are getting that there is a resolution to the issues at hand, and then make sure to cooperate and coordinate with county elections officials to provide any lessons learned or anything that we can do to remediate issues moving forward. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? If I signed up for Where's My Ballot last election, do I need to sign up again every election? No. The only time you would need to update your information is if your phone number changed, if your preferences have changed onto what type of messages you would want to get, or if your email has changed. Make sure that you update your preferences if they change, but other than that, you do not have to re-register every single election. Just like voting, you don't have to register every single election unless something's changed. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Why does the voter hotline call center no longer use volunteers? We still use volunteers and temporary help on the Secretary of State's voter hotline. We've gone to using temporary staff so that we can use them on a longer term. Because of California's election models, we're seeing our calls increase earlier, which would be expected because polling locations are opening earlier. Early voting is more popular than ever in California. And so we want to make sure that we have that support to voters. So we have long-term volunteers that help us on the voter hotline that would be happy to call and are happy to chat with you. Again, our voter hotline number for our English line is 1-800-345-VOTE. That's 1-800-345-8683. All right, another question here. If you register to vote after February 5th, will the state still mail you a ballot? Well, in short, the state will not mail you a ballot, but your county elections official will. County elections officials will mail ballots up until about the week before election time, when it's a little too late to actually ensure that you'll get that ballot by mail. If you registered later within that week leading up to the election day of March 5th, they may suggest that you visit a polling location or a vote center to ensure you get your ballot on time. But yes, if you register even up past February 5th, your county elections official will mail you a ballot. Let's see. Can you explain a little more about reporting misinformation? Is that from news, social media, public officials? Also, do you have a fraud tip line too? We do. Our voter hotline is our fraud tip line. It's a 24-hour number, all 10 languages. During the regular business hours of 8 to 5, if you call our English voter hotline, you will get a live voter hotline operator that can take information from you, including complaints, information for potential voter fraud, and that would be passed on to the appropriate staff members. After hours, you would be able to leave a voice message, and we would contact you after, notifying you that we received that voice message and then process your message accordingly. Reporting misinformation can be done also through our cyber election security office. So on the election cybersecurity page that Justin shared earlier, there is a link to report misinformation to the Secretary of State's office. And that can be from any source. It can be from something you saw on Facebook. It could be something that you saw in the media. It could be something that your friends are telling us or telling you. You can report that information to us, and we will work with our partners. We work with social media companies. We work with members of the press to make sure that we are getting accurate information out to voters. It doesn't help any of us to keep those rumors spreading. So let us know, and we will do what we can to make sure that we are providing truth and facts rather than rumors. I think you can go to California CA trustedinformation.sos.ca.gov, and there's a link saying report misinformation. You can click on that link and it'll automatically allow you to email our office and report that information. Let's see. If a voter wanted to vote in person, should the voter surrender their vote by mail ballot before they vote in person for security reasons? I would say in general, because all voters get a vote by mail ballot ahead of election day, I would bring my ballot to the polling location if I decided to vote in person. Now, that does two things. It makes sure that that ballot gets surrendered to the county elections official, but it also ensures that you're able to vote a live ballot on election day. If you go into a polling location that doesn't have real-time access to their election management system and is not able to confirm that you have not already cast your vote by mail ballot, they may ask you to cast a provisional ballot, which just means, like I said before, the county will take that provisional ballot back after election day and process it to make sure that you didn't cast another ballot. Once everything looks good, they will cast that provisional ballot as counted. And just on a side note, when it comes to provisional ballots, we, or county elections officials, will count and process every eligible provisional ballot that is processed. They don't hold on to those and wait for a close contest. They will go through each and every provisional ballot to determine its eligibility and then count it if it's eligible. So, good question. Provisional ballots are always our safety net. Let's see here. Do I have to be registered for a party to vote for that party's candidate? In general, no. However, the presidential primary election is the one exception. So if you are a no party preference voter, you will get a ballot without presidential candidates unless you notify your county elections office that you want a presidential ballot. Now, as a no party preference voter, you can request a ballot with American Independent Presidential Party candidates. You can request a Democratic Party ballot or a Libertarian ballot. If you are registered as or with a statewide qualified political party, you will automatically get those parties' candidates on your ballot. If you are a no party preference voter and would like to vote a Republican ticket or a Peace and Freedom or a Green Party ticket, you would have to re-register for that political party. Now you can do that up to and including on election day in your polling location to make sure that you can cast your vote for your intended presidential candidate. But all other contests, it won't matter. It's only the presidential party. You can visit howtovoteforpresident.sos.ca.gov for more information. So I think that is all the time we have for questions tonight. I am sorry if I didn't get to all the questions that we have in the Q&A. I am thankful that you are an engaged audience and I appreciate that. In wrapping up this session, I would like to thank again our elections team for providing this valuable information. I'd also like to take the time to thank all our hardworking county elections officials and poll workers for their hard work and dedication to election administration. And of course, thank you for spending part of your evening with us to ensure you are an informed voter. I hope you'll take the information from these sessions and share with your friends, family, and neighbors. You are now a steward of trusted election information. Don't forget to sign up for the ballot tracking through Where's My Ballot? Ballots will soon be hitting the mail, and you can sign up to get automatic messages via text, email, or voice call on the status of your ballot. Visit where'smyballot.ca.gov to sign up. And of course, as you prepare to cast your ballot, make sure you are getting your information from trusted sources like the Secretary of State or county elections officials. Visit vote.ca.gov for additional resources and information. Again, thank you for joining us this evening. This concludes tonight's presentation. Have a great evening and don't forget to vote.